Hey, Richard, thanks for joining me today to talk a little bit. This is going to be a short video. We're just doing quick topical conversations. And the thing we're going to talk about today is multi-strategy hedge funds. So these have been the strategy, the happening thing in the hedge fund space. They've gotten a whole lot of the flows through 22 and 23. Why have 2022 and 23 been such great times for multi-strats?
I think it's a great question, and I think it goes to the core of what multi-strats are doing relative to what standard hedge funds or normal single strat hedge funds are doing. Multi-strats are engines of process alpha rather than engines of asset selection alpha, and that's the big difference. And when asset selection is harder, so when you have more dispersion, more uncertainty in the markets, increasing volatility, it's much better to have X hundred uncorrelated bets with a 55% payoff than have much fewer bets with a higher, a more harder to get a higher percentage payoff, a higher percentage being right. So multi-strat, this is a great environment for multi-strats relative to normal hedge funds because it's a hard environment in which to pick winners versus losers.
So the passing of the torch from Tiger, from all of these funds that were playing in public and private markets and were levered VC type strategies, 2018, 19, et cetera, 2020, that doesn't, you need a process to translate a lot of small edges into fund level return stream in a market like this.
I think that's actually a really nice way of putting it. There's a lot of small edges, and you need to be able to combine them in a way using all the various tools, leverage, execution, inbuilt risk, compensation structures, hiring, in a way that leads to a fund level return that works for your investors and actually, enables you to pay your PMs. And that is not an easy thing to do. It's even if the maths itself doesn't have to be super complicated, the organization of the data, the agglomeration of information, and the doing the processing in real time in a way that gets the most out of it is very hard.
Yeah. Oh, I think you see multi-strats, new ones popping up all the time, but the same big names are the top of the heap still in terms of assets, in terms of performance. It's not an easy infrastructure to build. And I know I talk to a lot of teams where they're building out multi-strats and getting enough talent and getting enough uncorrelated types of strategies to make a multi-strat go. There's a big 0 to 1 problem there. And it's not an easy thing to do.
And also within the culture of a traditional fund where you have the PMs dominating decision making, you go to a multi-strat where actually at a portfolio level, it is not the PMs who are dominating decision making, but it is the process and the people who run that process who build into the whole front to back ex-ante risk management, control over leverage, all the stuff we are going to basically just touched on and we'll talk about in more detail. And so your hunt for talent is not necessarily the person who can identify a stock is going up or down. It's the person who can build a factory that combines all the various little bits of talent that are lying around into a final product, right? You are trying to build Toyota in an industry which traditionally has been hand-built coach, Aston Martin type stuff. And you speak to anyone in those kind of games, they will tell you how hard that is.
And I know that we like to think of the risk factory as the way the industry should work. And so I guess the multi-strats are an example of how you actually can view the investment business as a risk factory. This is going to be a short video, so we'll talk about more of these topics in more detail next time. We'll go into some of the central functions, the risk management piece. We'll go into some of the, what we see as possible futures of this. But Richard, thanks for taking a few minutes to talk multi-strats with me today, and we'll see you next time.
Great. Thanks very much, Stephen, and see you all next time.